The space station called Outpost Helix floated above a dead moon, far from any busy trade routes. It was old, rusty in some parts, and forgotten by most travelers. Ships only came here when they had no other choice, traders with broken engines, smugglers hiding from patrols, or scientists who wanted to study dangerous things in peace. It was a quiet place, and nobody paid much attention to those who worked behind the scenes. One of those workers was Ben. He was a human janitor, short, thin, always wearing a cap too big for his head. He didn't talk much. He just pushed his cart full of tools, brooms, and spare parts down the endless metal halls. He fixed broken vents, cleaned up spilled fuel, and made sure the lights worked. The other workers barely noticed him. Even the machines didn't greet him. But Ben didn't mind. He liked being invisible. He worked the night shift, which was the quietest time. Most of the station's crew went to sleep. The few who stayed awake were busy with research or watching the stars. Ben had the halls to himself, and he often whistled while he worked. One night, as he walked past a locked storage hall on level 7, he saw something strange. The air shimmered, like heat rising off a hot road. It was just for a second, and then it vanished. He blinked. Maybe he was tired. He walked on. The next night, the same shimmer happened again, in the same spot. This time, Ben stopped and stared. He reached out and waved his hand through the air. Nothing, just empty space. But his eyes didn't lie. Something was there. The third night, he came back with a bottle of cleaning powder. He poured a bit into his hand and blew it into the air. The white dust floated gently, then curved around something invisible. His mouth opened slowly. There was a shape there, long, like a small ship, but completely hidden. He moved closer. He touched the air and felt something cold and smooth. Ben didn't tell anyone, not because he was scared, but because he knew they wouldn't believe him. He was just a janitor. No one listened to janitors. Besides, he didn't feel danger. From the hidden ship, he felt calm, like it had been waiting for the next few nights. Ben returned to the spot. Sometimes the shimmer glowed faintly. Other times, he heard soft humming, like music with no instruments. He brought a chair and sat near it during breaks, talking softly. "Who are you?" he whispered once. "Why are you hiding?" No answer came, but he still felt something listening. One morning, as he finished cleaning near the docking bay, he overheard a group of scientists talking. "We picked up energy spikes again," one of them said, "near Sector 7, same spot as last month. We searched that place already," another replied. "Nothing there, just cold walls and old wiring." Ben smiled quietly and walked away. He knew better now. That evening, he returned to the invisible ship. This time, there was something new. A soft light blinked on the wall beside the shimmer, a symbol like a star inside a circle. He had never seen it before. He looked around. No cameras, no one nearby. Slowly, carefully, he reached out and pressed his fingers to the symbol. The floor vibrated beneath him. The shimmering shape flickered, and for a moment, he saw it. A sleek, silver ship with curves like wind and markings like ancient art. Then it vanished again. Ben stepped back, heart pounding. He wasn't imagining things. Later, in his small room, he couldn't sleep. Dreams filled his mind, flashes of stars, great ships in battle, and voices speaking in strange languages. He woke up sweating, but not afraid, more curious than ever. He opened his locker and pulled out an old notebook. He wrote everything down, every shimmer, every sound, every symbol. It was his secret now, a secret only he could see. He looked out the tiny window at the stars beyond the station. "You're not just a ship," he whispered. "You're something else." And deep in the hidden hallway, the invisible ship pulsed once with soft light like it had heard him. Ben returned to the hallway. Every night, he didn't need a reason anymore. It had become part of his life now, like sweeping floors or fixing broken lights. The invisible ship wasn't just a mystery. It felt like a friend. Something about it made him feel needed. Sometimes, the glowing symbol on the wall was there, and sometimes it was gone. But each time Ben touched the place it had been, the air warmed slightly. The hum inside the hallway grew louder too. Like the ship was breathing. Ben brought a small radio with him one night. He placed it near the ship and played soft music, old Earth tunes, slow and calming. He watched the shimmer pulse lightly with the beat. He smiled. You like that, huh? But not everything was quiet on Outpost Helix. A new group of visitors arrived, a small team of alien researchers. They looked different from the usual travelers. They wore dark coats and carried strange tools. Their leader was a tall, blue-skinned alien named Dr. Callan. He had sharp eyes and a cold voice. We're here to scan for quantum echoes, he told the station commander. Ben overheard this while fixing a leaking pipe near the control center. Most workers ignored him, so they didn't stop talking. When he was around, quantum echoes. One officer asked, that's just old ghost energy, right? Not exactly, Dr. Callan said. They are signs of things out of phase. Things that don't belong in regular space. Ben froze. Out of phase. Invisible ships. That night, Ben didn't bring music. He came early and sat beside the shimmer. Worried, someone's looking for you, he said softly. They call it science, but they don't feel like the kind that protects. He didn't expect a reply, but then something happened. A soft beam of light came from the shimmer and touched the floor. Slowly, a hologram appeared. It showed a bright golden planet with many ships flying around it, a beautiful world. Then, fire filled the sky. Dark ships attacked. Buildings exploded. The golden planet cracked in half. Ben stared, heart pounding. The image faded, and another appeared, this time of the invisible ship flying away, chased by dark vessels. And then, silence. The hologram disappeared. Ben sat down, shocked. You were hiding, because they destroyed your people? He asked quietly. And you've been alone all this time? The shimmer pulsed again. Not in anger, not in fear. Just understanding. He didn't sleep much after that. The next day, while wiping handprints off a door, Ben heard more from the alien researchers. They were frustrated. We've scanned level 7 5 times, one said. Readings spike, and then vanish. No ship, no tech, no nothing. Dr. Callan frowned. Something is there. I know it. Ben smiled quietly behind them. They couldn't see it, only he could. Later that night, he returned again. This time, Lisa followed him. She was the cook who often gave him extra soup when he was late for dinner. She had noticed his odd behavior and asked questions. He finally told her the truth. An invisible ship, she whispered. Are you serious? Come see, Ben said. At first, she saw nothing, just an empty hallway. Then Ben poured cleaning powder into the air again. Slowly, the outline of the ship took form like a giant sleeping creature. Lisa gasped. What is that? Ben showed her the symbol. This time, it glowed brighter as both of them stood near. You weren't meant to be alone forever, Ben whispered to the ship. Someone had to see you. Then, something unexpected happened. The floor beneath them shook lightly. A soft door opened in the shimmer, just big enough for a person to walk through. Lisa grabbed his arm. It opened. Ben, it opened. Ben hesitated. Then he stepped inside. Inside the ship, it was quiet. The walls were smooth like silver stone. Symbols glowed faintly, lighting their path. They walked slowly, amazed. There were seats shaped for beings with 2 arms and legs like humans. At the center of the room was a round pedestal. It lit up as Ben approached. A voice spoke, not in words, but in feeling. It filled Ben's head gently. You are the signal. You are the key. Solari memory returns. Solari? Ben said out loud. The pedestal glowed again. Holograms flashed. Quickly battles, planets, a great people lost to time. And then a warning, the void comes. Danger awakens. Prepare. Ben stepped back, shaking. Lisa looked scared. What does it mean? He looked at her, then at the walls of the ship that had been hidden for so long. It means this isn't just a secret anymore, Ben said. Something's coming, and this ship's not hiding anymore. It's waking up. The next few days felt different. Ben still pushed his cart through the station halls, but his mind was somewhere else. Every corner reminded him of the ship. Every sound made him wonder if the warning from the Solari meant danger was already near. Lisa had stopped asking questions. She helped him sneak tools and food into the hallway with the invisible ship. They spent their nights exploring inside. Each time they entered, the ship lit up more. The walls no longer stayed cold. Now they glowed gently as if welcoming them. One night, Ben found a small room that looked like a command center. In the center was a chair shaped perfectly for a human. When he sat in it, the ship reacted. A screen formed in front of him, showing stars, maps, and names of systems he had never heard before. Lisa stood behind him, eyes wide. "This ship was made for someone like you," she whispered. Ben shook his head. "I'm just a janitor." The ship disagreed. It showed a new vision this time, a memory from the past. A tall human-like figure stood before a group of shining warriors. Behind him, the same ship floated, strong and bright. "Only those who carry the spark may awaken Skyburn." A voice echoed. "Skyburn," Ben repeated. "That's your name." The ship pulsed once. Yes. They now had a name, Skyburn. Meanwhile, outside the hidden hallway, Drive Callan and his alien team were growing more frustrated. Energy spikes again. One of his assistants said, "We're missing something." Callan narrowed his eyes. "Increase the scan strength. Focus on Sector 7. Something's hiding there." Ben noticed new cameras being installed. Security drones flew closer than before. He and Lisa had to be more careful when entering the ship. One evening, while they sat inside Skyburn's command room, Lisa leaned against the wall. "Why do you think it chose you?" Ben thought for a moment. Maybe it didn't choose. Maybe it was just waiting, and I was the only one who noticed. Skyburn suddenly displayed a galactic map. One star system blinked red. Lisa pointed at it. "That's not far from here." The ship spoke through symbols and feelings again. Void signal detected. Old enemy returns. Ben remembered the holograms, the planet being destroyed, the dark ships, "Those ships," he said. "The ones that chased you, they're coming back." The ship confirmed it with a low hum. Lisa stood. "We need to tell someone." Ben shook his head. "They won't believe us. They didn't believe me when I said something was here. They'll laugh if we warn them about a 1,000-year-old enemy." Just then, the station alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Voices echoed through speakers. Unidentified fleet approaching from deep space. "All personnel, prepare for lockdown." Ben and Lisa ran outside. Screens showed blurry images of strange dark ships, not like anything modern. They were silent, huge, and surrounded by a shadowy glow. They didn't send messages. They just floated. Closer, scanning everything. Drive Callan rushed into the control room, eyes wide. "They match nothing in our records," he said. "This isn't a trade fleet. This is something ancient." Ben and Lisa looked at each other. They returned to Skyburn. The ship already knew. Its systems were awake, shields flickering around it, weapons charging slowly. Ben sat in the command chair again. "Can we stop them?" The answer wasn't clear. Skyburn showed another memory of its final battle. It fought bravely, but its enemies were too many. Still, it escaped to warn the future, to wait for help. Ben closed his eyes. Then maybe now's the time. Skyburn opened a small hatch at the side. A panel showed energy storage. It was low, but not empty. A strange slot opened with a soft glow. "What's that?" Lisa asked. Ben stepped forward. He felt something inside him pulse like the ship was calling to his very being. He placed his hand on the slot. A beam scanned him, and a voice filled the room clearly for the first time. "Identity accepted. Human code matches Solari's signature. Initializing battle core." Lights filled the ship. Engines began to hum louder. Weapons panels lit up across the command room. Lisa gasped. "You really are the signal, Ben." Ben stood, breathing heavily. "They're coming for us. They think we're weak. But this ship, it remembers." Outside the station, the dark fleet moved closer. Inside, Skyburn came to life. And for the first time in ages, the myth that had been hidden was ready to rise. The space station shook slightly as the dark fleet moved closer. Outpost Helix had weak shields and old weapons. It was never built for real battle. It was just a stop for travelers, never a target. But now, the sky outside. The windows was filled with shadows. Ben sat inside Skyburn's command chair. Strange symbols floated in front of him, showing the enemy fleet's movement. He didn't fully understand everything, but the ship helped him. It translated what he needed to know. Lisa stood behind him, eyes moving over the glowing panels. They're surrounding the station. She said, but they're not firing yet. They're waiting for something, Ben replied, or someone. Outside, the station's crew rushed to their posts. Defense turrets powered up. Emergency lights flashed. The station commander, a four-armed alien named Varric, stood in the control center watching the screen. Callan entered the room with a serious face. These ships are not in any known database. They are older than any recorded history. This may be a threat we can't fight. Commander Varric looked at him. What do you suggest? We prepare to escape, Doctor, Callan said. Abandon the station. Varric clenched his jaw. And leave everyone behind? Ben and Lisa didn't have time to listen anymore. They had work to do. Inside Skyburn, new systems came online. The ship's main reactor, deep inside its core, began to glow. Panels opened, revealing weapons no one had seen in 1,000 years. The ship had slept for a long time, but now it was wide awake. Ben spoke to the ship. Can you fight? The ship answered with light and sound. Its energy rose quickly. Outside, the invisible field began to fade. Skyburn's body slowly became visible to the naked ice leak, silver, and ancient, glowing with golden lines along its surface. Lisa stared through the open hatch. They're going to see us now. Good, Ben said. Let them. The Dark Fleet finally acted. One of the shadow ships fired a warning shot. It hit the edge of the station, shaking it hard. No voice followed, just silence. Skyburn responded. The ship rose above the station with ease. Its engines didn't make sound like modern ships. Instead, the air around it shimmered. It moved like a ghost, fast, smooth, and bright against the dark. The station crew saw it and gasped. What is that? Someone asked. It wasn't in our dock records. Another replied. Commander Varric looked at the image on the screen. Where did it come from? Doctor, Callan stared in shock. That's the source of the quantum echoes. Ben's voice came through the station's communication line. This is Ben, the janitor. Yeah, I know it sounds strange, but I'm inside that ship. It's called Skyburn, and it's not from now. It's from the past. The Solari built it, and it remembers who its enemies are. The station went quiet. Those ships out there, Ben continued, they're called the Voidkin. Skyburn knows them. They destroyed its people 1,000 years ago, and they're back now. Commander Varric looked at his officers. Is this a joke? Check the sensor feed, someone replied. That ship's energy levels are off the scale. Ben's voice came again. You don't have to believe me. Just let me handle this. Protect the station. We'll take the first hit. Lisa activated the ship's shields. A glowing dome of light formed around Skyburn. The Dark Fleet noticed. Two of the Voidkin ships turned and began to fire. Skyburn's shields held strong. The blasts hit, but the light absorbed them. Ben gripped the controls. Return fire. A beam of pure white energy shot from Skyburn's side. It hit one of the dark ships, cutting through it like paper. The enemy ship exploded in silence, and the others pulled back slightly. Inside the station, the crew watched in disbelief. Did that janitor just destroy a Voidkin ship? Someone asked. Commander Varric gave a small nod. Looks like it. Skyburn hovered calmly. Ben spoke again. We're not running. Not this time. If you want to fight, then let's fight. The Voidkin fleet regrouped, preparing for a full attack. Lisa looked at Ben. Are we ready for all of them? He didn't smile. He just nodded. We have no choice. We stand or they destroy everything. Skyburn charged its main cannon. More panels opened inside. Ben's heart raced, but his hands were steady. Once, he was just a quiet man who pushed a broom. Now, he sat inside the last ship of the Solari, standing between darkness and light, and he was ready. The space outside outpost Helix was filled with tension. On one side, the Voidkin fleet waited silently, their dark ships like shadows in the stars. On the other side, Skyburn floated above the station, glowing like a sun rising in the middle of night. Ben sat in the command chair. His hands rested on the controls. Lisa stood beside him, her eyes locked on the screen showing the enemy positions. "They're moving," she said. Ben nodded. "Let them come." The Voidkin didn't send warnings. They didn't speak. They simply attacked. 5 ships broke formation and rushed towards Skyburn, weapons glowing. They fired all at once. Bright blasts lit up space, but Skyburn's shields held strong. The golden dome round the ship shimmered and held like solid stone. Ben didn't wait. "Fire main cannon," he said calmly. Lisa hit the panel. A beam of white gold energy burst from Skyburn and tore through to enemy ships in a single shot. Pieces of dark metal scattered into space. The other Voidkin ships pulled back, surprised by the power. Inside the station, the crew watched with wide eyes. "What kind of ship is that?" One officer whispered. "That's not a human ship," another said. "That's ancient." Dr. Callan, still watching from the control center, whispered to himself. "The Solari were real, and their ship is alive." Commander Varric looked at the screen. "Get me a channel to that janitor." Ben's voice came through. "We don't have much time. They're testing us now. The real attack is coming." "What do you need?" Varric asked. "Keep the station safe. Skyburn can't cover everything. Just hold your line. We'll handle the rest." Varric gave the order to tighten defenses. Meanwhile, Skyburn showed Ben and Lisa a new warning. The enemy's mothership was arriving. It was much larger than the others. Dark, spiked, and pulsing with energy. "This is it," Ben said. "This is what they used to destroy the Solari." The ship floated closer, blocking out the stars behind it. Its surface looked alive. Shifting like black liquid, it opened ports along its sides, and hundreds of smaller ships launched in every direction. "They're sending a swarm," Lisa said. "Too many for us." Skyburn glowed brighter inside. More systems activated: drones, energy blades, defense turrets. It was no longer just a ship. It was a fortress. "Let's give them a reason to fear," Ben said. Skyburn charged forward, fast and smooth. It moved through the swarm like a hawk through birds. It fired quick bursts, each one hitting its target. Lisa controlled the rear turrets, shooting down anything that got too close. Inside the enemy mothership, something changed. A strange pulse came from it, and Skyburn shook slightly. "They're trying to disable us." Lisa warned. "Counter it," Ben said. Skyburn's systems adjusted. Its core glowed stronger. Pushing back against the pulse, the 2 great ships now faced each other. The enemy fired a massive blast, large enough to break moons. Skyburn dodged just in time, the beam missing by inches. Ben turned the ship and charged. "Target the core," he said. The front of Skyburn, open like petals of light, a thin beam locked onto the weak spot of the mothership. The targeting system said, "Void core detected." Lisa activated the final weapon, the star core pulse. "Ready," she said. "Fire," Ben whispered. The ship released a beam brighter than the sun. It hit the center of the mothership with full force. A massive explosion followed, spreading waves of light through the darkness. The other Voidkin ships froze. Some turned, some simply powered down. The battle was over. Silence followed. Inside the station, the crew cheered. People hugged, cried, and laughed. They had survived. Commander Varric stared at the screen, his voice quiet. "He saved us." Dr. Callan sat down slowly, still shocked. "The janitor saved the galaxy." Ben and Lisa floated in Skyburn, watching the remains of the mothership break apart. Ben took a deep breath. "We're not done yet. This was just a piece of something bigger." Lisa looked at him. "What do you mean?" The Voidkin didn't come all this way for nothing. They were after Skyburn. They were scared of it. They wanted it destroyed. Lisa nodded. "And we didn't let them." The ship pulsed once, gently. Ben smiled. "Thank you, Skyburn." But deep inside the ship, something else awakened: a hidden chamber. Locked for centuries, now open because the threat had passed. Inside was a message, not just to the Solari, but to the next protector. Ben stepped forward. The lights formed around him, and a voice, soft and old, said, "Welcome, Guardian." Ben stepped into the hidden chamber deep inside Skyburn. The walls were smooth and glowing with soft blue light. Strange symbols moved like water along the floor. Lisa followed behind him quietly, her eyes wide. At the center of the room stood a tall crystal-like column. As Ben got closer, it shimmered and opened like a flower. A glowing orb floated up, spinning slowly. It pulsed with a calm, steady rhythm like a heartbeat. Then the voice returned. It wasn't loud, but it filled the whole room. "Welcome, Guardian. You have awakened Skyburn. You are now part of the Solari legacy." Ben looked at Lisa, unsure. "Guardian," the voice continued, "the Voidkin are not fully gone. This was one wave. More will come. Only a true Guardian can lead Skyburn against the coming storm." Lisa stepped forward. "Why Ben? Why not someone else?" The room responded with a memory hologram of ancient times. It showed Solari ships flying in formation. In the middle of the fleet was Skyburn. Then it showed a group of Solari leaders. One of them looked very close to human. He held the same glowing orb. The Solari believed one of their own would return. The voice explained. "Ben carries their spark." Ben swallowed. He never saw himself as anything special. He was just a janitor, someone who fixed lights and cleaned hallways. But now, a ship older than any empire was calling him a guardian. Lisa placed a hand on his shoulder. "Maybe this was always your path. You saw the ship when no one else did." Ben nodded slowly. "Okay, then let's see what's next." The orb rose higher and connected with the ship. All of Skyburn lit up. At once, outside, its silver hull shimmered, and a new layer of armor formed like scales of light. Inside the space station, Commander Varric watched the ship from the command deck. "What is it doing now, Doctor?" Callan stood beside him. "I don't know, but it's changing." Back inside Skyburn, the ship displayed a map acro. SS the chamber. It showed many systems marked in red, areas touched or controlled by the Voidkin. The war never ended, the voice said. The Voidkin hid in the dark corners of the galaxy. Skyburn was sent to warn and protect. "You have reactivated the mission." Ben stared at the map. There were too many red zones. He shook his head. "We can't do this alone." "You won't," the ship answered. "But you must lead the first step." Lisa pointed to one glowing system near the edge of the map. "This one. It's close, and not fully red." Ben touched the symbol. The ship gave a soft chime. "What's the name?" he asked. "Kirioth," the ship replied. "An old ally of the Solari. But we've lost contact." Ben looked at Lisa. "Then that's where we go next. Just the two of us?" she asked. "We have Skyburn," Ben said. "That's enough for now." They prepared the ship. Skyburn connected with the stations, systems, and sent a soft message to Commander Varric. "Do not follow. Watch the stars. The Guardian has awakened." Varric read the message and stepped back, silent. The crew looked to him for answers, but he only said, "Let them go," in the docking bay. Workers watched as Skyburn slowly turned, glowing like a rising star. It moved forward and then disappeared into faster-than-light travel. Inside the ship, Ben and Lisa sat in the command room. "Do you feel different?" Lisa asked. "No," Ben said honestly. "Still me, just more awake." Lisa smiled. "Good, because I like the old Ben. He cared." Even when no one noticed, Ben gave a small laugh. "Thanks." As they neared the system of Kirioth, Skyburn showed signs of interference. Broken signals, static, and blocked communications. "Someone's jamming everything," Lisa said. Skyburn slowed and came out of faster-than-light. What they saw ahead made them both freeze. A small planet floated ahead, gray and cracked, but around it were the remains of broken stations and dead ships. Debris floated like ghosts. And at the edge of the system, a Voidkin ship waited larger than the ones before. "They're guarding something," Ben said. Skyburn responded, quickly scanning, analyzing, and preparing defenses. "The mission begins now," the voice said. Ben nodded. "We find the survivors. We learn what happened, And we fight if we have to. Lisa leaned forward. Whatever the Voidkin are hiding here, we'll uncover it. And as Skyburn flew deeper into the unknown system, its lights glowing brighter than ever, a new chapter of the Solari legacy was ready to begin. Skyburn moved slowly through the broken system of Kiryov. The stars above were dim, and the space around them felt cold and silent. Pieces of old ships floated by. Some looked human, others ancient. It was clear something bad had happened here. Ben sat in the command chair. His eyes followed the debris outside, each piece telling part of a lost story. Lisa stood beside him, checking the ship's sensors. No response yet, she said. If there are survivors, they're staying quiet, or they can't speak, Ben replied. The large Voidkin ship ahead still hadn't moved. It hovered, like a predator, watching, waiting. Skyburn stayed at a distance, hidden behind a dead satellite. Skyburn, scan the planet, Ben said. A map appeared. The planet was cracked and dry, but near its northern side was a small green patch barely alive. Beneath it, something pulsed. Life signs detected. The ship said. Lisa single quotes S eyes lit up. They're underground. Then we're not too late, Ben said. But before they could plan more, the Voidkin ship turned. It began moving toward the Planetan fast. They found them too, Lisa said. They're going to wipe out whatever's left. Ben added. Skyburn powered up. Ben tightened his grip on the controls. We stopped them, no matter what. The ancient ship shot forward. Its engines lit up the dark sky as it raced toward the enemy. The Voidkin ship saw it coming and responded by opening its heavy weapons. Strange dark beams fired through space, but Skyburn's shields held strong. Return fire, Ben ordered. Lisa activated the front turrets. Golden light burst from Skyburn, hitting the Voidkin ship's side. It shook but kept coming. Skyburn turned sharply, dodging another blast. Ben moved with skill now. He didn't think, he just acted, guided by the ship's ancient mind and his own growing instincts. The two ships clashed in orbit. Energy blasts lit up the sky like thunder in space. The planet below trembled from the fight above. Inside Skyburn, warning lights flashed. Their main cannon is charging, Lisa shouted. Then we end this now, Ben replied. He activated the Starcore pulse. The weapon needed time to charge, but it had stopped the Voidkin before. Now it was their last chance. Hold it steady, Ben whispered. The Voidkin ship released a massive blast, but Skyburn dove under it, circling around. The pulse finished charging. Fire, Ben yelled. The beam of gold and white energy struck the enemy ship in the center. It cracked, then exploded in silence. The shockwave pushed Skyburn back, but the shields held. Silence returned to space. The sky cleared. The danger was gone. Lisa looked at Ben. We did it, but Skyburn wasn't done. A path opened on the screen, a direct route to the planet's underground life signs. You must go, the ship said. Ben nodded. Let's meet who's left. They entered a small drop pod inside Skyburn and flew down. As they neared the green zone, they saw hidden towers buried in dirt. The pod landed softly beside a broken entrance. Ben and Lisa stepped out. The air was dry, but breathable. They entered the underground base carefully. Inside, it was dark and quiet until a soft voice called out. Who are you? Lights flickered on. Survivors, about 20 of them, stood weak but alive. Most were young. Some were injured. One, an older alien with golden eyes, stepped forward. We thought we were the last. Ben smiled. You're not. We're here to help. The old alien's eyes widened. That ship, Skyburn. I remember it. My father spoke of it. He said it would return when the stars needed protection again. Ben nodded. And now it has. The survivors welcomed them. Skyburn sent supplies and medical help. Lisa stayed with the wounded while Ben spoke with the leader. We need to rebuild, Ben said. But more than that, we need to warn others. The Voidkin aren't done. The old alien agreed. Many will not believe you, Ben smiled. They didn't believe a janitor either. But here we are, later, as they looked up at the sky together. Skyburn hovered like a bright moon, watching over them. Lisa walked up beside him. So what now? Ben looked at her. Now we build allies. We wake the galaxy up. We tell them that the Solari were real, that Skyburn is real, and that the fight is not over. And you? Lisa asked. What are you now? Ben looked at. His hands, once stained with grease and dust, now they held the trust of a legend. I'm still me. He said, just someone who saw what others didn't, and as the stars shone above, the ship once lost in myth now flew with purpose again. Not as a relic, but as a guardian's light.